Okay, so there was a murder planned yesterday, and now it continues. Ex-pastor bus duo from, so it looks like from all the men, two shepherds who are most fierce, superlative, word dialecti, comes from lectus to choose, ad facinus for the crime. Quibus, things which consuete erant e uterque means the two of them, things which they're accustomed with, and here we have them, the agrestibus fermentus, so things made of iron which are used for agricultural use, so some farming implements which they're accustomed to handle. They had these two very fierce shepherds, and in the vestibule, this is like the outer courtyard or something, of the regia of the king, Quemporo, looks like, as much as they were able to, having the speci rixus in the appearance of a brawl, they had a tumultuosissimus, very tumultuous, feigning to have a brawl, very tumultuous, in se, between themselves, and it looks like omne the apparitors regios, all the king's apparitors, or his servants, they caught their notice, and they converteranted, they turned to come here. So inde, so then, when ambo, and both of them appellarented, they called for the regem, the king, and their clamor eorum, the clamour of them had pervenised, had reached, usually takes in a rad, penitors deeply inside of the regia, which is the palace, vocatai, they were called or summoned, and they pergunted, they continued ad regem, to the king. So primo, in the first place, uterque, of the two of them, were vociferant, which really means they're bearing their voices, so they were voices raised or shouting, et in they were curtatum, in the Tim family of adverse, they were contesting, alter to alteri, one to the other, to obstrepere. It's like ob usually means to block, so strepent is to have a den, so each one was trying to block the other's noise by being louder or something. And they, the I means plural, they were coerciti, whatever you want to pronounce it, they were checked or stopped by the lictor, and usai, they were ordered, in vicem in turn, to dicerate, to speak, and at last they desisteranted to obloquai. And again, the ob usually means to block. I think the origin of ob comes from when you have two prepositions compounded, they become ob or something like that. It's pretty common. Unus, one of them, the nominative, ram, is a accusative, so he ordered it. He began, in his case, his ram from composito. Composito or ex composito means what's been pre-prepared or arranged before. And cum, when the rex was intentus, he was fully intent on him, this unus fellow, he averted, so he turned. So he was totally intent on this fellow speaking, and he turned in the altar. The other, ilatum secorum, having raised his axe, he deyecated. He cast it day down into the king's caput, into his head. And relictoing the tello, and with the weapon left, in vulnere, in the wound, ambo, both of them, he counted them say for us outdoors. So both ran out basically. 41. Tarquinium moribundum, the dying Tarquinius, cum, when those who were curca him, when those who were around him had accepted him or received the dying Tarquinius, so they grabbed hold of him. When this happened, at the same time, it looks like los fugientes, those people who were present participating, those people who were fleeing, were comprehended or apprehended, in you might want to say in English. The lictors are the ones doing it. The lictors nominative comprehended the accusatives. A clamour inde, so there was a clamour, loud noises, and a concurse running together, populi of the people, of them meranting, of them in wondering at quid, what esset, what was the re, what was the matter. So it's a nice little thing to know about genitives. Tanquil, into the tumult, amongst all the tumulting, ubited, ordered or bid, the regia, the palace, to be passive infinitive, to be claudide, to be closed, and the arbitress, or the people watching, the witnesses, to be ejected. Well, actually, it's not an infinitive, the arbiters were ejected. Simul, the same time, in quae, in which, currendo volere opus same time in which there was opus sunt, in which there was needed curing of the wound, the guy with the axe in his head, that's the gerund version. Tam quam, just as if, it takes the subjunctive, just as if there was sub est spes, as if there was some hope of curing the wound. She sedulously comparated, she procured all the things which should be needed for curing, and again similar at the same time, if spes was destitute, if destitute of hope, other things she molitored, she strove for as a procedia, some sort of protection, I'm guessing in case there was more murder. Servio, propere acito. So Servius was summoned, having been summoned, it's in the ablative absolute, propere, so hastily, he's been summoned. And when she verbed that the almost exsanguine virum, her almost bled out man or husband, she ostended, she showed him, holding the dextrum, holding his right hand, she orated, she begged, nay, in vultem mortem soccere, don't let the death of your father-in-law be unavenged, in vultum, nor the, what's that, mother-in-law, is it? Socrum, is sinet, is the verb, nor allow, which takes the verb, nor allow your socrum to be a ludibrio to your inimicus. So don't allow your mother-in-law to be some laughing stock or mockery made of by the enemies, personal enemies. Tuum est she inquited in the accusative. So it's yours. Servius, this is what happens when you make a vocative in the second declension. With things with I, you just lose the US completely. So Servius, it is yours. If vires, if you're a man, is the regnum. The regnum is yours, the kingdom. Not of those, not eorum, who with alienus manibus, who using others' hands, have fecarade, have done this pessimum facinus. Facinus is neuter. So who've done this terribly, horrible crime. This worst type of crime, maybe. Erigte, imperative singular. So erig, get up, become erect, you, stand up. And sequere, follow the dios ducres, the gods leading. Who, clarum, something famous or clear, fore was in the future. So what's going on here? Hoc divine, by this divine thing that would be your famous head, once upon a time. So once upon a time, condemn, this was to be in the future, fore. And they portended, so the gods portended by this divine thing, by circumfusoing your head with igni. So it looks like the divine thing was that the boy's head had been surrounded by fire, which had portended that he would be for a clarum. He'd be famous. So this is his chance to be famous. Nunc te, now you, illa flemma, that flame of the heavens. Now it's the time for it to excite you, stir you up. Now, vere, truly, expurgere. It comes from the deponent, looks like. So now it's time to wake up, rise up. Et nos, also we were peregrinis, we were foreigners, and regnavimus, we ruled. Who sis, who you should be, not from where natus reputa. So reputa is another imperative. So think about who you are and not from where you were born. Okay. C. If to array, if you're array, can mean a bunch of things. Looks like if you're so subita conciliatum. So if your own res is tormented, so it looks like if your own functions of brains in this by a sudden consul, suddenly making plans. You're haven't got your full wits or something. You're a bit dull. But to mea conciliare sequere, so sequere is being follow my plan. So we've got an if you're not too confident in your own plans, at here is probably in but at least, then you should follow my plan. And that's the end of the quote. Cum clamor. When the clamour and the impetus, a bit of a force, multitudinous of the multitude, was vix sustinere posse, was scarcely able to be sustained, from the superior part adium, from the higher part of the building, through the fenestras, through the windows, versus in Nuvem Via, facing towards the Nova Via, which would be a road, for the Rex habitated there, for the king lived there, near Jovis Statoris. I'm not sure what the Stator? Okay, you can Google that if you want. Anyway, Tanquil, the nominative, ad loquitud, spoke to the populum, the people. Ubited, she ordered or bid, it's a strange place for a comma, for the people to be of good bono animo, or to be in a calm state of mind. And then the regem, the king, by this sudden strike, a subito icto, fuis in sopitum. It's like being senseless or in a state of sleep. Okay. Daily Dictionary. Sopitus. It's the supine of sopio, caused to sleep, render insensibly by a blow or sudden shock. Top 2,000 words. I find that hard to believe. Anyway, the ferrum, would be the thing that hit him, was hord alti, not deep in the corpus, in the body, had descended not deep into the body, and yam, now already, he had redissate, he had returned, so already had returned, ad se, to himself. Inspectum volnus, absterso cruor. So, the blood was absterso, it had been wiped away, the wound had been inspectumed. Omnia, everything to be salubrious, everything was found to be salubrious or healthy enough. Confidere, she was confident that propi diem, it's just prope and diem stuck together without a space, so shortly or very soon, they as the people would be visurusing, they would soon see the king ipsum himself. Interim. Meanwhile, dative ablative Servius Tullius, Urbe, so it looks like she's ordered the populum, the people, audientem esse dicto. So it looks like the audience, the people listening, were ordered to follow the dictates of Servius Tullus in some type of English. He would be reditoratim jura, he'd be returning justice, or he'd be carrying it out. Obiturum, and he would be going about the alia munera regus, and he would be doing the other duties of the king for now.